Hey everybody, I'm Zachary Mays. Welcome back to Off the Air with MMR. Today's question, MMR you a fan? We'll be sharing our coolest and weirdest concert experiences and discussing and reviewing some of our favorite albums. Stay tuned to hear all about it.
Okay, so y'all, this was my first concert experience ever.
First one?
My first one ever.
How long ago was it?
I'd want to say I was 13.
Oh, wow.
It was at Masonic Temple in Detroit, and it was Cage the Elephant. And some of their older music is pretty intense. It's got some heavy beats to it, so I was a little scared walking in there, seeing the crowd, as I was the only 13-year-old in there. It was all 20-year-olds and up. And I'm just going to start telling about it. So I bought the ticket outside the door. Like, it was my first concert. I did not know what I was doing. And I found my friends. No. I was with one friend, and then two friends were already in the line. And so
you're 14. You're with another 14-year-old in the middle of Detroit. Kind of just walking around.
Okay, did you plan on going to this concert already when you went to Detroit?
I did. I did. My friend Julia was saying that she wanted me to come, and so I met her in the line, okay? And she was already in the front. And then the guards started breaking up the line to, like, send us in through different doors. And we got first. We got front.
What?
And so we were the first ones in the building, so we ran and we got barrier. And we were, like, holding onto the barrier. And I remember being center stage and just being like, oh, my God.
That's crazy.
Oh, it wasn't my first concert. It was my first general admission, by the way. And so we got to the barrier, and I was losing it. And then everybody else rushed in, and it was kind of insane. There was a sea of people behind me, and the fans, honestly, I had never experienced this before, and I still haven't. People were, like, tickling me to try and get me out of my spot. Like, people were, like, going saying things to try and get me out of my spot, and I'm like, I am not leaving. Like, I hope you know, like, I'm not going to go to the bathroom. This is my spot for the rest of the night.
Your hands on the barrier, committed.
Yeah. No, people started swaying us, so we were, like, moving and stuff, too, before the concert even started. Well, anyway, so then the concert started. And their old albums started playing. So it was like, I just remember fear going through every part of my body and being like, all right, this is where people start mosh pitting. Like, this is how I...
This is how I go out.
This is how I go.
Yeah, this is the
a mosh pit at Cage the Elephant.
14, it was a good ride. And,
yeah, for sure. And so... I bumped. I had a great time. It was one of the best concerts of my entire life. I'm not going to lie. People were crowd surfing like crazy. And so there was this one guy that was crowd surfing with his feet like going toward the stage. And he kicked me in the head. But before doing so, Matt Schultz, the lead singer of Cage the Elephant, was like, "Oh, girl in the front, watch out." And I was like, "Me?" And then I didn't watch out because I was so shocked. Like, I just got called out. Like, why would I? And then I got kicked in the head. And then he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay. Like, you just acknowledged my presence. I'm definitely okay." And then the last part of the concert that I remember was Trouble by Cage the Elephant, which was off their new album at the time. And it's such a mellow song. And I just remember allowing my body to sink into the crowd and just being like, all right, I'm going to accept this state and just be in, like, relaxed, in euphoria, in heaven. And it was great. One of my favorite concert experiences ever, and it was my first general admission. Has anybody had, like, a similar experience at all?
No, because you were, like, 14.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the chance to go to a concert until after I graduated high school.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I went to my first concert 4 days after my 18th birthday.
Oh.
I know, it's kind of cute, but, like, I wish I'd gotten to go sooner.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
Who did you see, though?
Haley Kiyoko.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but it was a really small venue. It was St. Andrews, so there weren't that many people there. But it's still really weird to be, like, 18 and think you're super cool and you, like, know what's going on, and then you roll up to the concert, you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, and why is he asking me to take my ID out, and I don't know what's happening, and I just felt so stupid. But the concert was fun.
Were you with, like, your friends?
Yeah, I was with two of my best friends. We bought the tickets together. They were super cute the entire time I was there because they'd both been to concerts before and I hadn't, so they kept, like, shoving themselves into good spots and then, like, moving me into them forcibly. They were like, "You stand here. We can't see, but you stand here." They're so good.
Aww.
Yeah, and the concert was perfect.
Amazing.
Perfect.
We love good concerts.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
we
had a
do.
moment at the end where I was like, man, this concert would have been perfect if only she'd played this song. It was Gravel to Tempo. It's one of my favorite songs by her. And at the end of the concert, people started yelling for an encore, and when she came out, they started like the Gravel to Tempo intro, and I was like, no way. And then Yes Way.
Yes
Yes
Way.
Way. They did my favorite song, and the night was complete, and everything was perfect.
Oh
That
my God.
actually a perfect concert right there.
Like actually, like small venue, best friends.
Yes.
My favorite song.
Now, did you buy the tickets for a certain cause? Like, was it your birthday and did you buy them?
No, I was just really excited that she was in town. I love Haley Kiyoko.
Where was the venue
Much
at?
fun.
St. Andrews.
It's
I
in
don't know where that
Detroit.
is.
Yeah.
It's like a smaller venue. I saw Declan McKenna there once. Met him too. That was amazing. I love concerts and meeting artists.
I feel like you've met the most artists out of everyone in this room.
maybe
Okay.
possibly.
Artist met count.
Yep.
Declan McKenna, 2 members of Modern Baseball. I met all of Saint Motel. I met Mac DeMarco. Talked to him for a good 20 minutes on the streets of Detroit. This was recent, and it was life-changing. Who else? I've met a lot more people, so this is just like brain farty. I always meet the openers for bands, so whoever I see opening, I'll always find them afterward because people are always like, certain people don't even acknowledge they exist after the concert's over.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Why would you
A
do
lot of the
that?
openers are really good as well.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, for sure. I've went to concerts and enjoyed openers more than the main
Yeah,
people
I've had that happen
sometimes.
once.
Yeah. Panic at the Disco, Saint Motel opened up, and then Saint Motel had a free concert in Detroit one time, and that was where I met them. They gave me free chips. They gave me a towel to wipe my face off with because it was hot. They were such kind beings. Anyway,
Wow.
I know I definitely have more people that I've met, but I just can't think of them right now. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, I met Watsky. That was pretty
Oh,
cool.
really?
Do you like Watsky?
Yeah.
I love Watsky. I met him at Warped Tour my sophomore year of high school, and that was really cool. He signed my ticket.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's dope.
I think our famous people counter over here is at 0, so
Yeah.
you definitely
the
have
rest
us
of us
beat.
Yeah, if I remember any, I'll make sure to let you know. But I think that's around the total. Declan McKenna was a great one to meet. He was such a sweetheart. Like the whole time, complimented me, wanted to get a hug. I'm so excited to meet Hobo
Those
Johnson.
have to be, honestly,
be soon.
my favorite moments is just hearing you met a famous person and them being genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of musicians are always like, oh, they're so mean. But I love the genuine stories of...
Okay, here's a story. I got
artists.
something to drop in. This isn't a personal experience of mine, but my dad's a lighting guy, which has gotten me into some cool things. For example, Faster Horses. I've been underneath the stage at Faster Horses.
No way.
But like 2 years before I went with my dad, he came home. And I don't know anything about country artists, so he was telling me about this, and I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. This is stupid. He met Brad Paisley backstage, said he was the nicest dude ever. And then like the
Yeah.
next year they did Faster Horses, Brad Paisley like still remembered some of the people on his crew. I think this is what he said. He told me this story a while ago, so I could be wrong. But like too long didn't read. He met Brad Paisley. And Brad Paisley was an excellent dude.
I've
I
noticed
love that.
that they're always excellent. Like, if you enjoy their music, you probably enjoy their message. You probably
Yeah.
enjoy them as
Yeah.
human beings, and then they're gonna vibe with you on a spiritual level. You know.
You have to approach them appropriately too. Like you can't go up and like start like seriously
Yeah.
fanning over them. Like,
Right.
just like they're just another person, and I feel like if you treat them like that, they're gonna always treat you like that too.
Definitely. With Mac DeMarco, it was truly insane. Like how much he felt like home. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way I can describe it. Is he hugged me to take a picture, and I felt such warmth and kind soul, very kind soul. Mac DeMarco is.
All right. So do you have any concert experiences?
Not anything compared at all to them. I've really only been to one concert. It was a Logic concert in Chicago. That was a good time. It was all like, it was an open venue on like an island, so that was pretty cool.
Hold on, like an island?
Uh,
Like the landmass an island?
yes.
Hey, let's
That's
go
pretty
into that.
cool.
So
That sounds dope.
it's like so there's like Michigan, and then you have Illinois. It's kind of like down here, and then you have Lake Michigan, and on Lake Michigan there's a little very 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 tiny landmass that there's a bridge that actually goes out to it, or it might actually be a peninsula. One of the two. Either way, it's the small landmass out there, and it's purely just used as like a venue. So like that whole peninsula or island is strictly just the venue. There's no seating at all. It's all outdoors. Then you have the stage, and then it's just all open like concrete. And so when we got there was a huge line, and we got there like 2 hours early. And we were like, oh, well, we thought we were going to get good seats. I guess we're just not. But
Not in the cards
we
for
got in
today.
there, and we found our spot, I guess, in the crowd. And like looked behind me, and I was like, oh, like there's nobody here. And then after like an hour, we were kind of just like going through the openers. Who was supposed to open?
I went to the same tour, so I know who you're talking about, but
Was it Joey Badass?
I think it was. I think it was.
Joey Badass was supposed to open, and for some reason he like just straight
He
up
didn't.
canceled.
Yeah.
Cancel on his tour. And so we were like, oh, and he had his DJ Rhetoric open and just like start DJing, and that was so cool. And then he had a couple other people come out.
From Rat Pack, right?
Yeah.
Or was that what? Is that
I
what
think
they're called?
it was.
I believe that's what they're called. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Maybe.
Did he play Mario Kart on stage for you
Yes.
too? Okay.
I feel like he did that at every.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
he,
so an artist played Mario Kart for you at a concert?
yeah.
Yeah, Logic. Because we both went to the same
I think
tour.
I saw that online.
Mm-hmm. He
Yeah.
would get like him and 3 of his friends, and they'd all have switches, and on the big like jumbotrons that they have there, you'd like watch them, and Logic was pretty much undefeated for the whole tour, I believe.
He did really well,
Yeah.
and it was enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mind watching someone play Mario Kart.
It was really cool too. Like at one point, you probably got this too, but he's like, everyone just like put away your phones. Like we all just need to sort of like be together, enjoy this moment without sort of recording or anything.
When I was at the
Yes.
Florence concert, she did the exact same thing, and it was
Yeah.
awesome because she had us all put our phones away and then like hug somebody.
Oh, wow.
And like say encouraging words to each other, and then immediately after she
Oh,
was
that
like,
sounds
take them out, turn those lighters on, and I forget what
Yeah.
song she played. I think it was
Hunger.
no, but God, that would have been good.
My friend, I think my friend said that was the first song she heard at the tour she went, and she lost it because that's her favorite song.
Yeah, I showed up to that concert fully anticipating to cry, and I like had a list of songs that I thought were gonna take me out, and then it ended up being Patricia, and I've never recovered.
Yes,
Now I cry every time I hear that song.
I love that.
Now, okay, moving on. I actually only been to one technical concert, which was actually Droptober. This happened a few days ago, October 30th. It was actually an event ran by MMR, which we are part of. Now, if our viewers did miss out on Droptober, you don't got to be sad about it. MMR is dropping their first album, or not their first album, but one of their albums, Asunder, on November 14th. Now, moving on from that, what is your guys' favorite album, and like what makes that album so special to you? Personally speaking, Post Malone's Hollywood's Bleeding album, that has to be one of my favorite albums.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
I really
Is
enjoy
that the
it.
new one?
Yes.
From what I
he
heard, I
just
really liked
dropped
it.
it
Awesome.
in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, my roommate and I bond over that album.
Really?
And I really, and there's something about Post Malone that is just so nice and enjoyable, and
That's true.
He has such a calming voice with the calming beat. It's just really good, and he somehow like puts that into hip hop, and
Yeah.
I love it. I may have impulse bought the CD and vinyl, but
Oh man, that's always dangerous.
yeah, they're fun though.
Oh.
I love having records to look
Yeah,
at and then not
records
play
are-
here because I didn't bring up my record player.
I know. Same.
so what's your guys' favorite albums?
Okay. So I have kind of briefly touched on this. I'm very excited to go see Hobo Johnson in less than 2 weeks. It is going to be a life-changing experience. I'm going to meet him and all of the Love Makers, and I will also meet Mom Jeans, who is opening up, who is an edgy band similar to Modern Baseball that I so thoroughly enjoy. But Hobo Johnson just released an album this year, and it was called The Fall of Hobo Johnson, and it is very weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like techno music very often. I don't like EDM, and I don't like country usually, but he just does some really different things with his music. He's not afraid to experiment, and he is so genuinely himself. That's what I love about him as an artist. His lyrics, it's like spoken poetry. It is beautiful. If you ever have the chance to check him out, it is totally amazing. But yes, so he released an album, and I've been bopping to that all fall. I believe it was released in like August. So
I can relate.
yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, the album that I prepared to talk about today was "High as Hope" by Florence and the Machine, which I've already talked about Florence and the Machine today. I'm a huge fan. So that album, when it dropped, I lost my mind. I listened to the whole thing in one go, like on the floor in my living room, and then cried for 4 hours.
Question: when did this album drop?
It dropped May of 2018, I believe.
All right.
So
It was about a year ago, right?
yeah, a little over, I think. It was such a different vibe for her, both musically and the lyrics. Because she's always had a really dark orchestral sound, but this time she kept the orchestral elements, but the whole vibe was a lot lighter, and a lot of her lyrics were a lot lighter too. She still talked about some really heavy topics and some really hard things that happened to her, but there was a lot more hope in her lyrics, and it was so impactful for me.
That's so cool to have an experience where you cry from an album.
Yeah.
I love those.
The one that got me is I'd been listening to the album, and then I got to, God, I think it was the 6th track. It's called Grace, and at that point I was like, I should pull up the lyrics, and that was a mistake for that song for me, because Genius lyrics, they have the lyric analysis on the side. The lyrics to that song Grace, it sounds like she's talking about Grace in a metaphorical sense, but in the description I said Grace is her sister's name. So she was saying this is the only thing I've ever had any faith in, and she was talking about her sister, and she was talking about how her family was going through hard times, and she was the oldest sister, and she felt really terrible for not being able to take care of everyone, but her younger sister Grace carried the family, and I lost my mind because I've got sisters.
That's beautiful.
That I wish I could have done more for. It was, oh my God, it was too much for me.
No.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, I was just sobbing through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Seriously.
that is where it's
An
at.
album like that for me was Panic's last album, Pray for the Wicked. They have the song "Dying in L.A."
I love that song.
You get through that whole album, and it's all building up, and then it just releases into that song, and I think that was maybe one of the first songs I actually felt. Brendan Urie.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, those albums are honestly my favorites, just where the artist gets to, it feels like they're talking to you with their lyrics.
Yeah.
And just telling the story through their lyrics about themselves, and it just makes it feel heartfelt from the artist.
For sure. I wanted to ask really quick. You definitely just seem like the person that would know who this is, but Dodie Clark?
I've heard a couple of her songs, and I get the sense that I'd really like her. My friends are really big fans. I really
Yes.
like her song 6 out of 10.
I have a shirt that says 6 out of 10 and it has a taxi cab, and
Oh
it's
my
her
God.
shirt because I love Dodie so much. But she's one of those artists like Florence and the Machine for me where I can sit there and listen to a whole song. I will feel full body chills. I will start crying. I am moved to go dance in my own room like a fool because it's just so. I feel a connection with her from London. I'm like we're vibing together.
What genre are they? 'Cause I've never heard of.
Dodie, she ukulele girl. She's ukulele girl.
Wait, was she on America's Got Talent?
No.
That's Grace Vanderbilt, I think is her name.
When you said a ukulele, I immediately thought of that girl.
Yeah,
God.
no, she's in her late 20s, no, not late 20s, early 20s, I'd want to say right now. But if you follow her, she started on YouTube
Yeah, I was
really,
just gonna
really
say.
long time ago, and she has a lot of LGBT and awareness and mental health awareness, which is really cool. She talks about that stuff all the
Yeah.
time, and her lyrics are just all too relatable in the best ways.
Yeah.
And she's just such a kind
I think
person.
that's interesting. Very recently, we've seen a lot of UK artists become really prevalent.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think the internet definitely is what
Yeah.
is, because imagine how quickly we can receive all of that now
That's true.
compared to before.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now, do you have
Yeah,
a personal
Robbie.
album experience?
I have two.
All right.
I'm gonna start. Do you guys know about Khalid, right?
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah, that album.
I
Yeah.
started
American
following
Teen.
Khalid when he only had 2 singles
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
I
same.
love him.
Yeah, I found him really early on, and then he dropped his first album, and that album for me was so good. And
What album was that? Was that
American Teen.
American Teen.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought the
Summer.
vinyl for that too. That was a good, such a good album. And then the other one is a Logic album. Is it like the greatest story of all time?
The Incredible True
The
Story.
Incredible True Story. That's what it is.
Yeah, no,
Alright.
I wasn't too aware with that album. You were telling me about it earlier, and
Yeah. So, are you guys familiar with it? The Incredible True
I
Story.
think I've heard
I
a couple
am
songs
not.
off of it, but I'm not that familiar with it.
It
no.
was Logic's second album, and it was a concept album about sort of basically the concept was we've polluted Earth so much that we actually have to, we've had to build these spaceships and go out into space to search for other life forms and like a habitat for us to live in, and it's just like it's so cool. And basically it follows 2 pilots, and they're listening to old Earth music, which just happens to be Logic.
Oh,
So
wow.
That's so
Yeah.
wow. I might have to give
I like
a
that.
closer listen.
Yeah.
it's really cool when they role play with it, because that's what I like.
Yeah.
Have you heard "Exquisite Corpse" by Watsky by chance?
No.
It's one of his few songs where he is like role playing almost, and it's about like the apocalypse happened, and it's called an exquisite corpse because there's zombies and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is so fun. He got like so many people to be on that track with him. He got like Daveed Diggs from Hamilton.
Oh my
and,
God.
Yeah, I know. I knew that would excite someone. And just a bunch of other amazing artists. I love role playing songs and albums because it's so fun to go into a different world
Yeah,
and do that
exactly.
through music.
Yeah, did the Logic album, did that have like interludes?
Yeah, so
okay, I think
it
I
was
may
like-
have heard the interludes.
Yeah, and so it would be like a couple tracks, and then you'd have like a 30 to a minute long like skit, is basically what it was. And he had 2 like, I think one like really big voice actor that he actually was like a huge fan of, and he reached out and was like, "Hey, I'm making this concept album. Would you want to like voice act on?" And he was like, "Oh, absolutely." And he was like, "What? Wait, what? Like you actually want to?"
Oh my God.
And then I think the other guy, I'm not sure if he was like a big voice actor, if he's just a part of like Logic's crew. But it would be like they'd script out the skits, and so there would be like a few interludes, but it would go back and forth between skits to sort of like tell the story of like what's happening on the spaceship and what they're listening to and how it relates to, and you follow the main pilot, and he talks about how like they haven't really had real music in like years, like decades, and that's all he's really wanted to do with his life, but he hasn't been able to, and so that's another big part of it.
Yeah.
That's such a cool album to like hold close to you. I definitely
Yeah.
want to listen to it more. But I love all the album recommendations.
Yes,
all
I
of the
definitely have
music.
some albums that I need to look into, artists to look into, and definitely concerts to go to.
Yes.
I once got Skittles thrown at me by Lil Xan.
If we're throwing out random facts, I met Mr. Smash from Smash Mouth. So yep,
Wow.
that's
Well, anyway, thank you for tuning in to Off the Air with MMR. We post new episodes twice monthly wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to send any questions, comments, or discussion topics that you may have to us over our social media accounts. And be on the lookout for Asunder dropping November 14th.